was at my friend's grandmother's house or apartment. She's at that right down the street.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
Um, it's tough because she came from a giant house and then moved everything to a one bedroom apartment. So I was like,
Right.
oh, that's tough. And it
Yeah.
was, I mean, a mess would be an understatement, but it's not her fault. It's not like she's a messy person. It's just everything's
Right.
out because she just moved in. So it was
Right.
tough, and I had to put her PC together, put her laptop together, and it helped. But she had a little dog named Millie that I showed you. That
Oh,
little right,
yeah.
mom. So I was like, Millie, do you want to play? She goes, she's got an enlarged heart, so she can't play. And I was like, all dogs have an enlarged heart. And she goes, no, actually, like an enlarged heart, she can't do activities. So I was like, oh, but I just
How
thought
old is
Millie's 4.
Oh, it's young
So,
to
yeah,
have
yeah.
a large.
Mom, she like I could have taken her head and just fucking, you know.
Aw.
But yeah, she was literally hands on, and I was holding her like this, and she wouldn't move.
Cute. Cute.
Yeah,
Too cute.
she can't
It's
get.
nice that they can have the dogs at a place like that.
Yeah, she's really tiny. Like I was hearing this loud bark because I was knocking on the door, and then I see this little guy who not much bigger than my foot, not much bigger
Dash
than my foot.
hound? Is it a little dash
It's
hound?
I thought so. It's a something dachshund or something like that. It's not a yeah, some kind of a mix. But I was just like I also didn't realize though when you have a dog with an enlarged heart, she really can't have any surgeries. So she has to treat that dog with like everything. How do I put this? Like if something goes wrong, that could be the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and she was sitting, she goes behind, like if you're sitting in a couch and you lean forward, she'll sit behind you and then you lean back and it's like, oh no, you crushed Millie. And I'm just like, oh no. So, but
Does she bark or something if you do that or no?
she didn't do it, but obviously the grandmother knows what she's doing because they've had Millie for so long. But yeah, I just thought it was funny because she's like this big tops. She even has a little Dutch hound outside her door. It's like a little statue. Yeah. So play with Millie, got her computer set up. It was like I felt like Copernicus every time I did something. You're amazing. I was like, yes, I know. I was show.
Mrs. Gotta wants you at their house. I need Chris. He's got to hook up my music system. He's got to hook up my computer. She's having the same issue with her phone that I'm having. We think it's the 5G thing. She's Verizon and I'm AT&T, so it's not the service. And she has a 10 and I have an 11.
Well, if you're both
her
in
call-
dead zones, like if one of you goes into a dead zone, you're gonna have a problem. But
It's Chris. This is just something new anywhere. Like I've never had it in the house, and now it's happening in the house. Dad had to call me on the house phone last night because it was going right to voicemail. I had no idea why. I'm not on silence. I'm not on anything.
I had that problem. Yeah, I had that
Yeah.
problem once.
I did find something in focus. Something was on focus. I don't know if you know that thing, but and it had some weird time frame on it that had nothing to do with last night. But I deleted it just to see if it'd make a difference, and it didn't. Something happened again to me today, so I don't know. Weird thing.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I'd have to really look at it. But yeah, I haven't been having too many phone issues. I haven't had any tech issues ever since I put that router in the boosters. Perfect
Yeah.
Wi-Fi calling. I love it.
Oh, good. That's good. Yeah, I have to ask your brothers because they were going to look into doing they had special internet from the previous roommate, and he left.
You could just say Matt Nee. everyone knows Matt Nee.
From that, and he left, so naturally, he was going to keep it in his name. So Kenny was trying to decide if they want to up it and do the same thing, or use the building internet. I'm like, oh no, just tell
Don't
you
do
you
that.
wanna up it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for $20 a month each, it's probably worth it.
Oh, for $20 a month, yeah, that's really good.
I mean, in addition to, I don't know if they have an internet bill or if it's just included. I didn't ask, but it seems like a lot, $40, but it's really for internet. That's pretty important, especially since they stream and they do everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else happened this week.
Heroes.
Yeah, but I was fixing everything in there. I showed her that she could put she's like, she had this screen protector thing that was used to magnify her screen. And I was like,
Wow.
what if we just put it on the TV? Like, what if we just hooked up an HDMI cord? And she goes, you could do that? And I was like, yeah, let me show you. And I pulled out her box right there. I pulled out the cable box. put
Yep.
the laptop. It was like cavemen figuring out fire. She was like, "What?" So she had a nice 65-inch monitor in front of her.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I told her grandson, I said, just get her a long HDMI cord, and then you're good.
Yeah.
You know, it was funny. So one of the main things she wanted me to do was move her Microsoft Office over from her desktop to her laptop. Oh,
Yep.
excuse me.
Stop your yawning.
Yeah. So I give her I was like, I can't really do that anymore because there's no discs. It's all subscription based now. But
Yep.
she was adamant she wanted her Excel. I was like, wow, I didn't know people actually just use Excel for fun.
Yeah.
So,
Her spreadsheets, you
yeah,
mean?
she just loved her spreadsheets. I was like, okay,
Wow.
I don't know what you do with spreadsheets, but all right. I think she likes making lists through
Yeah.
Excel. So
Okay.
I was like,
I
okay,
hear her. I hear her.
yeah.
I'm there.
So
I get what she's saying.
but you can't just transfer stuff over anymore. That's what's so annoying. Like I can get her files, but I can't get Microsoft Word to her computer without paying that subscription. So
You mean buying it or a monthly subscription
that
thing?
you can't just really buy it anymore. Now it's a monthly subscription. After 20, I
Is
forget
it
what I'm
really?
on. Yeah, I think everything is within.
Well, if she does the mail service, there's like a Microsoft Office 365 that has the mail service attached and whatnot. I think that's a monthly charge, but I do think you can just get the regular Office without having to do the mail or calendar service, something like that.
Can you buy Microsoft Office? You'd have to get an older version because there's no more discs.
No, but you can download it.
Yeah, but you still have to get the subscription for it. That's what I'm saying.
No, no, I'm saying that you don't. In the past, you can go on to a vendor, you buy the Office, student or home, whatever, and they ship you the download, and you open up the download, and they give you like a license key or whatever. You punch it in. I just did it recently with TurboTax. Same thing. You download the software. So
One time
I agree what you're
purchase.
saying.
$244 for Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. That is
Yeah,
ridiculous. 2024. That is ridiculous. That
listen to
thing,
you.
I wonder why pirating is through the roof.
Listen, Bill Gates needs his yacht.
Yeah, Bill Gates needs his yacht. And
Melinda has to pay for the flies to be genetically changed so that they don't carry malaria.
yeah, I'm trying to see. I was going to segue that into Bill Gates needs his money, but the Zuck has declared
Who
the
sucks?
end. What did you say?
Who sucks? Go ahead.
Hey, Mom, he's better now. He's
No, he's
cool
not.
now, Mom. He's hip.
Please.
Streaming HD resolution. Ooh, entire
Not according
screen.
to Sarah Wynne Williams. But that's my article.
Yeah, I was going with this one first. He declares the end of phones just because we were talking about cell phones. This is a good one to start with. So the Zuck decided that he goes on some podcast or something. I don't know which one it was, but he just goes. They have the idea now for the end of cell phones. So we knew it was coming. We're at that point. Google Glasses. Now,
Of course.
mass producing these, we're not there yet. So, right, each one is going to be stupid expensive, right? Stupid expensive. But as time goes on, as you know, prices go down. Now, this thing does everything a phone does. The only thing that this guy doesn't really talk about is how it physically works. Like, how am I going to be able to click on stuff? Unless it's like a and blink, but that's besides the point. Then everyone's like, hey, do you have Tourette's? You're over there going,
Yeah, we're gonna have self-imposed Tourette's pretty soon. I mean, or eye twitches. These people are unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where I don't know if it'll adopt very well into society. Like everyone's going to be wearing glasses that has. I know it sounds cool, but if these things are bulky as hell, I don't want them. Who's going? And you don't want to be that guy with the Google glass. Like remember the people that were walking around with Google glasses? Those or the Apple. What was it called? The Apple glasses that just completely fell off.
Yeah, I think he had them first or something.
Was
They
all
did an article on his.
yeah.
The Meta glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, but remember the Apple glasses that came out a couple months ago? The headset thing with the bypass?
Yeah.
Why am I yelling so much?
I don't know.
I've had a long day. Those things fell off. When was the last time you heard of those?
It's counterintuitive because nobody wants glasses. People
Yeah.
are trying to get rid of glasses because they don't want things on their face. Even sunglasses are sort of a necessity out in the sun. But, now he wants to add more functionality to something we're trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
It
So
doesn't make
that's
sense.
why I sit here and I go, Zuck, what are you doing? Just stick to jujitsu.
Yeah.
So just use your MMA thing and start beating on your wife or whatever you're doing as practice.
Oh, shoot. Meta's in trouble. They had a
Yeah.
whistleblower
The
came and talked
whistleblower.
out of Congress.
This is interesting.
She claims that Meta worked with China to develop advanced AI to compete with U.S. companies.
Outcompete.
Her name is Sarah Wynne Williams. She's the former director of global public policy. She witnessed Zuckerberg and other execs outright lie to Congress. Because if you recall, he was brought in front of Congress,
Right.
grilled by Hawley and a few others. Their project was called Project Aldrin, which was a top secret effort for Facebook to tap into the Chinese market. And recently, Hawley was getting all upset because she admitted that, obviously they collected US data as well, which is a no no. You can't do that. She claims that Meta AI, which is known as LAM, LLAMA, I'm sorry, Llama, it bolstered China's efforts to compete against US AI with companies like, I guess their company is DeepSeek, the Chinese
Yeah,
company, their AI
DeepSeek is like Sam Altman's counterpart. That's like the
Okay.
competitor.
So apparently Zuckerberg was involved in that with the Chinese government. She alleges the CCP had censorship programs with Facebook, agreeing to block dissidents' account. So there's a man by the name of Miles Gao is his name. He's a Chinese uh, dissident. He left China, came to America,
Right.
very wealthy man. Um, CCP put a lot of pressure to have him sent back, arrested, whatever, going against it. So she's saying that, you know, she witnessed that the CCP, they worked on, and Meta was more than, or Facebook at the time was more than happy to do this, or were willing to do this censorship program
Problem is she's got the
against.
crazy eyes, so I don't know if I really trust her. I'm pretty good at seeing people and going, this person's a little crazy. But
Well, she wrote a best-selling book about it, and it's
so she's
costing
trying.
her $50,000 a day because she signed a non-disparaging, non-disclosure thing, but she's willing to
Maybe
testify.
it's
And it's
worth it.
costing $50,000 every time she does it, and she makes some comments about what's her name, the female Sandberg, the woman who was the COO, some very inappropriate behavior in the office and
Oh.
whatnot. So anyhow, she has quite the story to tell, but it doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise
I
me.
was talking to someone at the gym yesterday. It doesn't surprise me, but my only problem with this is when it comes to all tech companies in our country, almost all, I would say, I would argue like 95% of big tech companies have
Just throwing a
some.
number out there.
I'm just throwing that out completely on no basis, but from everyone I've seen and done some research on, China has some kind of an investment. So whether it's big or small, I mean, look at TikTok, Facebook, right? We know Instagram because it's under Facebook. I'm probably Twitter. I don't know, probably, but they have a hand in every big major tech thing. Remember when Silicon Valley failed, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden China was just buying out everything, the banks went to China to
Okay.
basically bail them out. There's a
Yeah.
reason for that. So that's why I go, what company isn't owned or has a hand with China?
Well, there's an issue with doing that because as she pointed out when you read the article, the fact that they worked so closely at rolling out this AI did damage to American companies because they were then not able to do their own version because they did it very quickly, very cheaply, which, you know, I can't read the article, but to their point in the article, you're working against companies here or investing money trying to do this, and there's always an issue with China either stealing or undercutting our abilities, right?
Right.
And it has an impact on us when they use these things militarily, right? So America used to have advantages, and now we don't need companies like Facebook just giving it away. This is technology that, by right, there are limits to what you're allowed to share with foreign countries in
Right.
terms of technology. And it seems like they have crossed the line, and Congress is very interested in this because you're right. I don't think it's just Facebook, but we know Facebook has had, I mean, Zuckerberg himself said we were, now I don't know if you could believe his take on it, but the Biden administration forced us to censor people. Did
Yeah.
they? Now you got to wonder, right? They
Yeah.
lied before about this, so we have nothing to do with China. We don't do anything with the CCP, right? Well, they testified. And sure enough, this person's coming forward and saying they absolutely do. And they were undercutting American companies in the process, some of which had to abandon their AI because they couldn't compete.
Yeah. And the AI race, speaking of AI, um, one of the articles I have here is the former Google CEO is saying that 99% of all electricity will be used to power super intelligent AIs, right? So I thought this would go great because the super intelligent AIs, again, I don't know what
Yeah.
the definition of that is. The only one I can think of is ChatGPT and probably what it will eventually become. But
Yeah.
I mean, kind of piggybacking on what you said, a lot of these companies, you're seeing the ones that have these lesser AIs start to fall off. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot that like every day a new one closes down. Like one that was like in production, and then it's just like we don't have the funds or the technology to continue. And if they want to continue, they have to pull from like ChatGPT or whatever. So, but
It just,
99%.
it
Go.
just feels a little redundant to me to say that super intelligent AI. I thought that was the point of AI, that it was supposed to be, and constantly working towards super intelligence. I didn't realize that you could have degrees of AI.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest difference is how fast the AI can do things. So like how powerful all the AIs do the thing. The question is who could do it fastest and the best way. So that's what it means by super intelligent AI, I think.
Weren't they talking about quantum AI to do the super stuff? I remember an
We're we're
article about that.
not we're not really at quantum AI yet. We still have quite some time before we get to quantum AI.
Okay.
Because quantum computing is still pretty damn new.
Well, can I just point out, and I didn't read the article, but we need the energy in all forms, renewable, non renewable, whatever. All right, Silicon Valley, they're the golden boys of the progressive left movement and women.
Right.
Golden boys, right? All of a sudden, they don't care and they want 99% electricity. Okay, give them the windmills. See how well their AI is going to work with the freaking windmills that they demanded
It
everybody
won't
have,
work.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So the hypocrisy of these individuals is mind numbing, and it goes back to what we keep saying about these frankly brain dead progressive people, activists out there, keying the very cars that they were screaming everybody should have 3 months, 3 years ago. And now look at this. Now that you watch, these people be supporting any and all, burn the coal. We don't care. We need the AI,
Yeah.
because Silicon Valley told them. It's just absurd.
But
Absolutely absurd.
I do think, and I think you and I have had this debate on the podcast before. When it comes to who gets that AI superpower first, I think it's kind of like a no holds barred sort of situation where you're just gonna, whatever you do, you know that that's more important than the Earth at that time, probably.
Well, that's my point. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to see all the Silicon Valley abandon, this
Yeah,
idea that we have to watch what energy we produce and footprints and carbon. They're not going to give a crap when they're racing to make the almighty dollar with the fastest AI.
right,
And they're paving the way for it right now. Where are all the Green New Deal activists screaming about this? Where's Al Gore, right?
right.
Oh, no, it's okay for this. It's just not okay for me to cook on a gas oven. Are you freaking kidding me?
That's why when it comes to, I mean, there's a fair justification though as to why you would change your mind now because I think these AIs will get. It is going to come down to an AI race. Like I do think right now, even though we don't talk about it and no one's really fearing it, we are in an AI race right now for who can get the first one that is whoever's first is going to be so far ahead to have a real
Yeah, but
AI.
all the more reason why that previous story is important.
Yeah,
So Meta's helping China that has the financing, the desire, right? They don't give a crap about energy. They'll burn people to run the thing. That's how they are over there. So, they want to be the superpower AI. It doesn't help when I've got people in Silicon Valley expediting that.
Right. See, I guess my other question I should ask when we went over that article is what's considered help? Because I always get skeptical with whistleblowers because they use words most of the time that doesn't really explain exactly what they're doing. So, like, I think we know some executives who are executives in companies that don't even know what the company does. So that's why I really wonder what this lady's definition of help is. Not defending Meta or Facebook. I'm just saying, like, define help.
Well, I think the most glaring thing that I heard from her testimony prior to this article was that they flat out lied about what they did with China. They
Right.
said they didn't do it. Zuckerberg and others said we're not involved. I'm paraphrasing, but
Right.
basically, oh, we barely do anything. If what she's saying is true, it's very easy to figure it out because
Right.
there will be others who are involved. She sat in on these meetings. She's not the genius behind it kind of thing, but she knows from her experience of being in these meetings, she knows full well that they were involved in a censorship program and they were also involved in AI. So to sit there and say, oh, we don't do anything, right?
Right.
Well, you can't lie to Congress. If it's not illegal to do it, then you just say, yeah, we're working with the Chinese government to help them with AI.
Right. I guess you being secretive is kind of what makes it sketchy. Or
Yes,
only certain people can know.
And I'm not sure what legally you're allowed to do in terms of technology and patents and whatnot. I don't know if there's legal constraints, like government constraints as to what companies are allowed to share with certain countries. You know, you just can't go over to Iran and go help them build the nuclear bomb.
Right.
It's not allowed, or we have restrictions on that. And I don't know what those limitations are, but she's inferring in Congress, I guess, by talking to her, saying, you know, there's a line in the sand what you're allowed to do as a company, and they may have crossed it.
Right. But back to this whole electricity thing. I was thinking we talk about 99%. When it comes to electricity, I never know how much we really use as a society. Like, I would think we use a lot because there's 350 million U.S. citizens now, plus all the companies, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If we were able to sell off 90% of our power grid, how much power do we really need? Because we're not really struggling yet with power. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I disagree. Talk to the people down in Texas when they had power outages and there was no air conditioning. Talk to the people in California when they put these arbitrary limits on the power, and all of a sudden, they can't use their internet.
But at that point, that's where I have the question of, is it so much that we lack the power, or is it just the point of the infrastructure itself is not fantastic and can't get to people in an emergency? Because, right, if you cut the line, that's a different story than we just don't have enough power.
Well, you have to remember, too, there's drains on the system. So certain times of the year, the South uses the air conditioning when they have a heat wave, right? So there's only so much capacity they get to a certain area, and you can wind up burning out the system, right?
Right.
We've had blackouts in this country, whole blackouts in New York City a couple times. When it gets over, now, in answering your question, I don't know the answer to that, but do they limit how much power they send out all over? Well, yeah, we're not going to send all the energy we have down to Texas just because it's hot. We need it in other parts of the country. Hospitals need it. There's a certain amount that every city needs for emergency. When you put restrictions on it, like the last administration, now you got to work with what you have.
Right.
That's why some places would complain that, in Texas, okay, that's what happens when you start limiting how much power you can have because you're trying to do the Green New Deal and the footprint and everything. But guess what? When it gets hot and everybody uses air conditioners, they're going to crap out and you're not going to have the power for it.
Right.
So it's a test to say, and that's what you want for everybody in the country? Right? That's why the Green New doesn't work.
So that's why, if 99% of all electricity, that doesn't even talk about, that just says at a world level. I don't know if he specifically means our country.
Yeah, I can't see the article. Yeah. I don't know what's in it.
He didn't talk. It didn't go too much into detail. But it talks about gigawatts and stuff. But I don't know. Like I don't know how many gigawatts or watts are power. Right?
Well, I don't think I think he's just throwing it out there that basically what he's saying is AI is going to require a tremendous amount of energy. Okay. Right?
Gigabytes, but rather in gigawatts. So that would be 1,000 gigawatts. So 1 gigawatt is 1 billion watts. Okay? So 1 gigawatt is 1 billion watts.
Mm-hmm.
That means that and then there's a roughly 1,250 gigawatts.
Right. So our grid can produce 1.25 trillion watts of electricity at any given time.
Cool, but this is where I go, cool, that's a number. Is that one household? Is that, you know what I mean? Like how many what does one household use? A gigawatt? Definitely not.
I can't answer that question because I haven't looked at our electric bill in a very long time. I just pay it. I don't know the breakdown, but I think that's a large capacity. I don't think.
Well, obviously it's a large capacity. I just don't know. Like, I don't know what that powers. It obviously powers the United States, but I don't know, does NASA use a full gigawatt? I don't know the consumer breakdown or building breakdown.
The term they said is the total installed electric generating capacity, not usage. So if I go by the verbiage, that means that's what we're capable of doing.
Right.
Approximately 1,250 gigawatts.
Right.
I'm assuming that means we don't necessarily use all that, but we have the capacity for that in our country, in the U.S.
Gigawatts does one household use? Okay. One household doesn't use it. Okay. Typical household, significant. The average household is about
kilowatt. That's right. Kilowatt
10 per year, which is roughly which is equal to 1 billion watts or 1 million kilowatts. So 1 billion watts. So every year. Okay. That would make sense. So every year we use 1 gigawatt. And we can do 1.25 trillion.
Yeah, so a single household uses a tiny fraction of a gigawatt.
Right, it uses 1 trillionth, essentially rounding down. 1 trillionth.
Yeah, 1 gigawatt is equal to 1 million kilowatts.
That is, when you really break that down, so our house, for instance, even though it's a 12-story house and stretches out a mile, only uses 1 trillionth of our power grid.
Yeah, so they're saying the average household uses 1,620 kilowatts a year.
Right.
Okay. So the average household, they're saying 10,000. What?
10,000 kilowatt hours of electricity per year.
They just said, which is roughly 30 kilowatts per day. Is my math bad? It's 54 days. Oh, I'm an idiot. It is my.
You did weeks, didn't you?
I did weeks. I didn't do days.
So it's 365. Okay, 365.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I don't think any of our brains are functioning tonight. I just realized I'm lethargic as hell.
You keep yawning.
It was because I plowed through that fried chicken, and I got my 2 for $7 deal for Ben and Jerry's at Harris Teeter. We got a big UFC tonight.
I know your brother was going to go out to the after party. Did he tell you?
Yeah, to fight Volkanovski.
Speaking of ice cream and Ben and Jerry's, did you see my sign wars out in the Midwest?
The sign wars, yes, I did.
Yeah, I didn't don't do the audio because the guy's kind of silly. He's just reading the signs, but they're actually kind of funny. Some town in Missouri, so they started a sign war, and the signs were answering each other, mostly fast food, Dairy Queen, and who was the other one? Is it Burger King?
McDonald's.
McDonald's, and then Sonic got involved. I thought it was cute. I wasn't listening to the sound. I was
It's
just
good.
reading the
It's
sign.
good business. The problem is, this is just boredom, right?
Oh, okay,
This
yeah.
is I'm tired of my job. Let's do something different. What's a move?
But that's cute. I think it's kind of fun to do that and gets
Yeah.
people reading the signs and thinking what they're. And some of them are really kind of funny, like the ice cream machine. Oh, he's actually working at McDonald's.
Oh, even the bank got involved.
Yeah,
That was pretty
whole
neat.
town started doing the signs. Yeah.
You know, this is on a strip where everyone's there. Your signs are cheesy, just like our pizza. Come on.
Yeah. Everyone got in the act. I thought it was cute. Little hometown America.
Just because we were talking about judges before, judge allows requirement that everyone in the U.S. illegally must register to move forward. This one I didn't read. I didn't have the time. What's this one about?
That was big news this week. I didn't know if you would bring it up, but yes. So basically, the Trump administration and a federal judge said, "Yep, you can do it." There are laws in our books that go back to the 1940s that say if you come into this country illegally, you have to register. Okay, you have to register and you have to carry those documents around with you.
Well, that doesn't
They
help us
ruled.
with all the people coming the last 30 years.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't because all those people have to register now,
Oh,
and if
okay.
not, you have to report. So you run the risk now, based on this judgment, that if you're caught and you do not have documentation and you are illegal, you're out and you cannot reapply to the United States. You're done. You can't come back. You're better off registering and hope that you can stay, or at least if you register and you get deported, you can at least apply to come back. That's the
Gotcha.
difference. Okay? So they ruled the group fighting it that they didn't have standing. Failing to register is a crime, and that's for anyone 14 years or older without legal status. You're going to get fingerprinted and your address too. They want to know where you are. Also applies to Canadians, which is interesting because a lot of Canadians come down. They're winter, what they call them, snowbirds. They come down and live just for the summer, but technically, you have to register if you
Really?
do that.
Oh,
I
I
don't
didn't
think
know
they have a
that.
special reason for that. Yeah. So it's another means of getting individuals to self-deport who aren't supposed to be here and to come through the legal channels that we have.
One of my favorite quotes about Canadians is the beauty of what's sad about Canada is half of it's French and the other half lets them be French. Well, I mean, that's
Yeah.
good, but I don't know how you're going to be able to register all the people that have come over the last X amount of years. Like, how are you going to find them if they're not on registries or anything?
Well, many of them now you can do through Social Security because they're all have illegal numbers.
That's
And
true.
the administration did an interesting thing. I didn't pull the article, but I think the AP ran it. You know how they found all these dead people in the Social Security rolls?
All
They
these dead
identified
people?
them. Yeah. So they moved all the illegals that they know of onto the dead rolls so they won't get checks anymore. So instead of clearing them all off, I mean, this is what the article alleged. Instead of clearing the individuals off altogether and kicking them off of it, I guess the faster thing to do was to move them all into the dead rolls because there's a dead file where people don't get paid anymore. Not the ones where people still get paid. A dead file where people don't get paid anymore. So they moved all the Social Security numbers that they knew were for illegals. Rather than going out to those individuals and getting rid of them, they moved them into this dead file, which all the payments get stopped.
Right.
So they can have the Social Security card, but they're not getting any of the
Oh,
perks,
gotcha. Gotcha.
right? So, I mean, ultimately, that is the best way to remove people from this country. You cut off all their benefits.
Yeah.
Because
Then
trust
it's
me,
like, why are they
they
here?
ain't staying because they love America and democracy.
Yeah.
They're stealing most of them because they want the goodies. And the ones who do love American democracy, they usually do it the right way, the legal way, because they love America and democracy. So, it's a quick way of people self-deporting. And they've seen that the numbers of self-deporting individuals going really going up since he came in to office. So this is another way of doing it without having to spend money.
Gotcha.
I just don't like the idea. My thing, I mean, I'm, as you all know, I'm not a big fan of people illegally going into any country. I think that's wrong in any country. But It's just I'm not comfortable with the carrying docs around kind of thing because it reminds me of like Nazi
It
Germany or
does, yeah.
Russia where you have to show your papers.
But then again,
And
nowadays it's all on your phone anyway. So it's really, do
right,
you have your phone on you?
right, but you know what's going to happen? It's going to turn into like stop and frisk. Oh, it's racist because they only asked for the papers of somebody who's Spanish looking or South American looking, and they could be citizens, right?
Yeah.
Unless you stop everybody, meaning you and me, and say, show me you're a citizen, which personally, that's going backwards for us because we've never done that in this country. We don't do
Well,
it.
that would be the definition of we have too many illegals. So they have to stop everyone, which is like to your point, the opposite of what you want. But we're at that point where it's the only logical thing to do. So
Well,
I don't think
I'm
there's
just
any
telling,
winning. I just need to
no,
get
but
one of
you're
them.
going to see. I'm telling you, you're going to see what's going to happen next if they start doing that. They're going to claim that it's racist, and the judges are going to put a temporary restraining on it because we need a better system. You can't just randomly ask people because some of them could be citizens, and then you're going to start to see the statistics of how many people of a certain ethnic background are getting stopped versus people who don't have that background, and that's when it becomes a problem because if you're not going to if you're not going to ask everybody for documentation, then you can't ask anybody, which is not necessarily the right way, but
You
they're going to
can't
put
have it
parameters.
both ways, right? Because then the only
Right.
way to prevent that is to have like a Nazi barcode on you to not get checked.
Right.
So,
Or everywhere you go, you have to show your papers when you go to a concert. And when does it stop? Do I have to do it? Hey,
right.
you know what it harkens back to? The COVID card. Remember the vaccine card?
Yeah.
You can't come in the venue unless you show your card. You can't get on an airplane unless you show your card. And we want to get away from that. Most of these, ironically, we're back to, the EU. They would love for people to have to show a credit score or a credit card. All human beings. But I'm not keen on that. And I do think they should have to register. If you're picked up for something, then you should have to show your documents.
Right. Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
So that's what you're going to start to see some rules around that, parameters where you just can't randomly go up to somebody sitting by the side of a railroad track waiting for a job and say, hey, show me your papers. You look like an illegal.
Right. Yeah. Right. 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 Exactly.
Yeah.
Box office: a Minecraft movie sets video game adaptation record with $301 million global debut, double, if not triple, as well as Snow White did.
I know. Yep. The first weekend was 157 million in US and Canada. It's doing very well globally too. It beat out Super Mario movie for the biggest game adaptation.
Wow, that's actually pretty big because that was a big movie. I remember when that came out, like last year or 2 years ago.
I don't remember the time frame, but they're hitting everything with this movie because they got all the spring breaks, right? Because it came out I think at the beginning of the month.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Everybody's off. You have the religious holidays, right? So a lot of good timing with this one. I don't know if Super Mario was at the same time, but I think Snow White tried to capture that market too, and they just failed.
Yeah.
Just failure.
I mean, they'll never. They already iced another princess movie that they were doing. It did so bad, they're like, we're not putting out this other one that they were going to do live action. But for the YouTube events, they actually invited the people in that community to go see that movie. So we could have gone to California and done it, or I was in Seattle, Ma. We could have gone.
No, I don't go to Seattle for anything.
That's what I said. I was like, I'm not going to Seattle. But they invited us to go see it for the opening premiere. And the girls the YouTubers that I've been working with, they went.
We don't say girls.
Women.
We say the ladies. The women.
The hoes. No. I said that. One of them went out with her friends last night, and I was like, "You picked hoes before bros, and that's not cool." And she's like, "But I love the hoes." And I said, "Excuse me, escorts." I said, "Show some respect." She laughed at that. But so they went. They liked it. They're big Minecraft fans. So they loved it because it's Minecraft. Or I should say one of them is.
They like Jason Momoa.
Yeah. I didn't even know he was in it. No one said that. But she said it best. It's not a good movie. It's a fun movie. So if you're going in for like, I want a good story, I want this, you're not going to be satisfied. But if you're in it because you like Minecraft and you like the silly, funny stuff of Minecraft, it's a great movie for you. So that's why it's doing so well. Like kids love it. Maybe I'd watch it and like it, but if you genuinely love Minecraft, like Kenny's a big Minecraft fan, Kenny would probably like it.
I think he's outgrown a little bit, but at the time he was really into it. I could be wrong.
Well, the concept of it. No, he played it recently. I mean, he's played it the last. Kenny's good at Minecraft because there's something in Minecraft called redstone, and redstone allows you to do like technological things. Like there are people, Mom, that this doesn't even make sense to me, but people have built computers in Minecraft using redstone. Kenny is not at that level, but Kenny can do a little bit more than the basics. So it's fun when we used to do the brotherly build battles that my brothers don't do anymore. Kenny would do the redstone ones, and it would be pretty cool. You should have seen Matt Sprague on Marvel Rivals last night. He was yelling at kids in ways I didn't even know was possible.
Oh my gosh!
So
they're gonna kick him off.
I'm surprised I didn't get a TikTok ban last night. I thought for sure we were getting one. Matt was throwing words around that the CCP were like, "Put this guy down."
Bad for us.
Yeah,
they were
like, "Whoa," but yeah, always fun playing with Matt Sprague. But yeah, so this movie, again, I hear good things if you're a Minecraft fan. I hear bad things if you don't know what Minecraft is and you wanted a movie.
Yeah, why would you,
Yeah.
Why would you go unless you're into that? It's
exactly.
Kind of
well, I think that's because like when these, the tabloids go, they're there for the physical, is it a good movie? Right? So they have their fundamentals, and then if it doesn't hit the fundamentals, then it's like, oh. But it kind of goes to show the tabloids are so out of touch if they thought this movie was bad.
Well, listen, if you go into Snow White and you see a middle-aged man watching it by yourself, you stay away from him.
And you got no kids? Yeah. And he tells you, I'm with IGN? Sure, buddy. Yeah. I'm a big...
Like young people to be at.
I'm a Rotten Tomatoes guy, yeah. I'm with IMDb? Sure, dude. Why do you smell like booze?
God.
What else do we have? Oh, I thought you'd like this one.
All my articles.
Yeah. 4 things to do before 9 a.m. if you're trying to lose weight according to dietitians. What do you think? No, that's mine. I was going to say, what do you think they are? Because you've been talking about your diet, and I guess you felt attacked there based on your reaction. Do I bring up these dieting articles and you're like, oh, I guess Chris is telling me I have to go on a diet?
No, I didn't tell you the story when I went for my physical. Did I tell you about the lady with the? Did I tell you this? Maybe I did.
I don't. Yeah, you did.
With the history.
And she got excited. Yeah. How many times a week do you exercise? And you're like, I go for 5, and she goes, yes. But we were talking about that. Think of how many people don't exercise at all. So yeah, Yeah, but anyway, if you were to guess what the 4 things were to do, technically, what do you think the 4 most important things from this article are?
Before 9?
Yeah.
Exercise?
Kind of a trick question, but technically yes, technically no. Not like fit.
4 things you should do to lose weight.
It's tough. No.
No? Before 9.
Yeah, it's kind of okay, I'll tell you because it is kind of a trick question.
You're supposed to fast before 9?
Yeah.
Did you say that?
Well, okay. I realize you're based on my question, you probably won't get them. So make sure you get enough sleep, which of course you do before 9 because you're sleeping. So, right. Okay. You were probably thinking from when you wake up to 9, right?
Right.
That's why I realized quickly it was a.
No. So fasting would have been before you went to bed and up
right.
till 9.
That's the 5th one that they don't talk about. But make sure you're getting enough sleep. Now, Dad actually sent me a video the other day on. They had these exercise scientists, including Mike Israetel, talk about how important it is to sleep to lose weight. They say 6 to 8 hours. This article says 7. 7's not bad, but I'm one of those people where the one downside to living in the South. Right, living in the hot South, the hot summer heat, is if it's too hot, it's tough to sleep. So I got to crank the AC at night.
This your place is an ice box. Don't tell me you can't sleep because it's hot.
I gotta go colder. So I've been sleeping at 65, and that's been keeping me asleep. But 70, I'll wake up. It's not fun.
Yeah.
So
Possible. Yeah. I mean,
so that's why I drop it low. Now my thermostat goes down to 45, and I was like, I don't think that's safe. I was like, I think I'll get hypothermia.
I will say this: when I was younger, little, um, I would sleep with a down comforter, and my window cracked, and that was in the Adirondacks. That is supposed to, that's my crazy Aunt Helen who would push that. That is supposed to be the best way to sleep. Cold is better for you for sleeping. They do say that.
Yeah,
Not to be
they
cold, but to
say
be in a cooler environment.
they've had scientists like Rogan's had sleep scientists on. They say if you can bring your temperature down 1 degree, like
Right.
your body temperature down 1 degree, you will. It would be the best sleep of your life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they say to knock it down
Yeah.
to, well, you said
So I
65.
now
I
I
mean,
sleep with ice in a pillow. I go.
well, you have to be, honest with your viewers. You also have like 5 blankets on you at
That's
night.
true. I do. I Yeah. I got four blankets on me, so I do get pretty hot. But I
Well,
like putting myself in a little cocoon.
I know you
I
do.
call it a
But
crisp burrito.
that's why you crank the AC too, because you do have all those blankets on. That
Yeah.
cools it down. In the real world, for those of us who can't afford to pay that AC, you take a couple blankets off and you put the AC at like 67. You have the same effect as 65.
67. My God.
Well,
67.
like I said,
Um. So
first
sleep's
world
number
problem.
one. Sleep's number one because your
Yeah.
metabolism. There's a lot of benefits because you'll probably burn extra calories while you're sleeping. Like your natural
Yep.
metabolism is going to burn through most of your calories. Now, if you're
Yep.
a heavy set person and your metabolism's way down, you're going to have to do what it takes to get that metabolism down before you really start seeing the benefits of burning calories while you sleep.
Right.
And that leads us to number, is it two? Yes, number two.
Yeah.
Drink a glass of water.
Yeah.
Water keeps that metabolism going, keeps it going down.
Right.
You don't have to chug it, but you got to finish a glass of water. If you're struggling with a glass of water in the mornings, we got issues.
Yeah.
So
See, I can do that before 9. I have my coffee in the morning. I'll have the water after 9 and during the day,
I don't know if there's any
but not early.
science to this, but I wonder if you should do the coffee second because, and this is completely me just pondering. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just wondering. Because of how coffee restricts the blood vessels,
Yeah.
I wonder if it's actually negating the effects of water opening your blood vessels. Which I shouldn't say opening up, but you know what I mean. Getting the juices flowing. Like coffee's
Yeah.
technically not good for you.
I disagree because caffeine has some benefits. Excessive coffee is not
It
good.
has benefits, but the mental benefits for us are greater than the negative physical benefits. Because there's really no physical benefits of coffee except for I guess waking up, but I would say that that's a mental thing because all coffee does is restrict your veins.
I don't know that. I'll take your word for it. But I think
I,
caffeine is very. I know caffeine can make your heart jumpy, so it can get your heart
yeah.
pumping
Yeah,
regularly.
I
So
don't
that
know. Yeah. I've never really researched that. I'd have to look at it. But I'm wondering if you do water first, it might be better than if you did coffee first. But like I don't know the time frame between that first glass of water and your coffee.
right.
So
Well, but I'm done with my coffee by 8, so
if you can
there's
make
no by 9.
I wonder if you can make the argument that technically coffee is water. It's just coffee. It's just ground coffee in water.
Fluid, but-
Yeah, it's a fluid.
Well, coffee is a
Antioxidant.
dehydrates you. What's the term? Oh jeez, it's out of my head.
Uh,
It's
Something
a
that
it dehydrates you. It's like tea. They're oh, I can't think of the term.
not
It
antioxidant.
water out of your system. It's a diuretic. The
Oh, it
diuretics.
is. Okay, that's the word I was looking
Yeah,
for. But
coffee and tea, I think the caffeine in the coffee and tea. That's why green tea is so good for you because it acts as diuretic and also has the green tea blah 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 benefits. Um, yeah, so that's the opposite of drinking water. It takes the water out of you when you have too much when you have caffeine.
huh? Yeah.
Caffeine can be dehydrating. Some people like as I get older, I notice I more easily get dehydrated because if I just have caffeine and I don't drink water, I'm doing a double whammy
Right.
as I get older.
Oh.
So What's number 3?
This one I don't like. I don't like this one. Eat a protein-rich breakfast. We intermittent
Yeah.
fast. Get that shit out of here. You can have breakfast, but just have it later in the day. If you like breakfast foods, that's fine. But given it would be a lot harder if you're not drinking coffee, if you don't have an antioxidant to stop you.
Right.
I
Yeah, 'cause
would,
if you fast, you'd have to stop eating at what, 4 in the afternoon to get to 9
yeah, to get
o'clock?
to 9 o'clock. That'd be so
Or
hard.
before 9
Yeah,
by 8?
that'd be miserable. But, what was I saying? Because of that, I say don't eat breakfast. I would consider the coffee your breakfast. Keep your metabolism low, because once you start putting food in your body, it stops human growth hormone and turns it or glycogen starts acting up, and then it slows your metabolism down because you start digesting. So that's why I would say don't eat breakfast until your intermittent fasting window, which should be at 1 or 2.
Okay. Maybe. The only thing is you're not factoring in. Some people have to go to work, right? Some people have to be
Fine,
out the
be
door.
fat, be obese.
No, but I'm saying they don't have the luxury of dictating what time they
Quit.
can eat. 1 o'clock you could do lunch, yes. But you have to be functioning mentally, physically, and some people aren't just sitting at a desk. Some
Well,
people
if
are
you
moving around.
if you want an intermittent fast, you don't have to be so religious with it that it has to be the same time every day. You just have to give yourself the eating window. So, for instance, if I know I'm going to be working, if I know I have a lunch break and I can take that lunch break anywhere between 1 and 3, I just have to make sure my eating window is between 1 and, you have 4 hours probably, 1 to 4.
Yeah.
So.
But that's what I'm saying. Not everybody has the luxury of your schedule. Most people don't. And for kids in school or a teenager even, they have to eat. They can't go to school. They're going to be functioning
But that doesn't mean
idiots.
you have to eat.
Well, you would have to eat something. Not saying a full ass meal, but you got to eat something if you got to go to work, because you can't just.
Fine, stay obese, people. Fine.
You tend to be active and moving if in some jobs. Not every job is at a desk.
Right.
And you might need to eat something. Now, does that mean you eat? And I like their idea of a protein-rich breakfast.
Right.
Not crap.
Yeah. A lot of eggs, probably. It would work either way. The reason that you do protein is because with protein, your body only digests, I believe it's 60% of what you put in. So your proteins will naturally, let's say you eat 400 grams or let's make it easy, 1,000 grams of protein or 1,000 calories of protein, you're only getting 600 of those calories because your body's going to just break down the rest.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't know the breakdown, but
the other one, number 4, is get moving. Now, there's a lot of research now on how good walking is for you. Like, not hard exercise, not anything, just walking.
Yeah.
If you can do 10,000 steps a day, which sounds like a lot, but it's not, 10,000 steps a day, you will lose weight very quickly. And by very quickly, I mean you'll start seeing results in like a week.
Yeah. I believe that. I also think, which is counterintuitive to a lot of people, you understand it, but you have to put muscle on because muscle will speed up your metabolism more than, diet and everything. I mean, diet helps, but you have to give the body a reason to speed up their metabolism. And muscle tends to do that as opposed to just struggling with, I don't understand, I walk all these miles. Now you will get more muscles from walking too because you're developing leg muscles.
Yeah. Now remember, the heavier you are, the more muscle you probably have because your body's had to carry that weight. So that's why you'll see heavy set people that lose weight and they have huge legs, like huge muscular legs. That's why I've been putting the weight on, Mom. I'm trying to get these calves big, and those pints of Ben & Jerry's are calling to me.
No, I saw a video flipping around, and I was intrigued by it because, it was one of these skinny person on one side or in shape person and a heavy set person. And it was 15 minutes of walking a day, but it was like a jazzercise walking that anybody could do. And it was the perfect models for it because one wasn't totally in shape, and the other one was heavy, but could at least lift her legs and do just basic
The
stuff.
basics.
Right. What I liked about it was at home. They called it walking. It was to jivey music, right?
Right.
So it's not like walking in a circle outside, which is nothing wrong with that. But for people who are morbidly obese, they don't necessarily want to go outside and walk. What I liked about it was like, and it's so true. If you do this every day for a week, you will see a difference.
Yep.
And diet too. But if you do it for 2 weeks, you'll see a difference. It's a time thing. If you're moving,
Yeah.
something's gonna change.
The advanced
No,
version. Go ahead.
go
Sorry.
ahead.
I was just saying the advanced version, and they were talking about this in the video that Dad sent me, is using a scale is not a bad thing. Like I pretty much weigh myself every day. But if you're just at the point where you just want to lose weight, to your point, you just have to start walking and you'll see the results. Like that's the beauty of being kind of very overweight. You can see the results a lot faster, or like you can physically see the results faster than like me
Well,
who.
it's not, you will see results, but let's be honest, when you're obese, it takes time, but it's every day you will see it.
And you'll
It's
feel
not
it. You'll
like,
feel a lot better too.
well, and that's the catch 22 we've talked about for some people who, when you're overweight, everything hurts because you're putting so much strain
Well,
on your joint.
when I got to 210, which was like back at home, uh, I wouldn't say like people tell me I carry my weight really well, which thanks everyone who says that, but I did not feel good at
Grandma?
yeah, I did not feel good at 210. 210 was like, man, this is kind of brutal. So,
Yeah.
like I was able to put up good weight, but I was just like, oh, this is like I'd go to bed with like heartburn and all that, and I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, so that's when I stopped. I was like, okay, so now I'm down to 10. Like I can't imagine people that are like 220, 230. Like Matt Sprague must be dying right now. He's like 235, that fat ass.
I don't know if this is a good thing, but there was a report that the obesity level is going down in this country because of the Ozempic type things, right? So a lot more
I don't
people
know if I
are
can.
dropping the weight very quickly, so the numbers are coming down. But having said that, yeah, I mean, there's
My other
I don't
problem though, Mom, with that is the definition of obesity
yeah.
from I have to know what their definition of obesity is because they still do that height over weight measurement, which doesn't make sense because that would
Yeah,
be
no,
that's like
it's
the
a
Rock,
general,
yeah, because that would mean that the Rock is out of shape because or is obese because he's 6'4", 285 pounds.
yeah, I mean, you have to go by body mass index and
Right.
the weight and all that stuff, but
So
I
that's
think
why I
it's just a
wondered.
rule of thumb type thing where,
It sounds like
let's
they
be
just
honest,
counted how many people were on the Ozempic.
think about it, we're not talking about all the people shaped like the Rock walking around in America. That's not our problem.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Would be a
allowed,
nice problem.
but it is true that the simple things like yeah, just moving, and even they say, just taking off 10 pounds, 20 pounds can make a huge difference. And it keeps you going. And
Even
it's that
five.
catch 22. It's not even about looks. It becomes about, wow, my joints don't hurt as much, my feet.
Yeah.
But it's that hard
It,
thing of, it hurts to walk. It
yeah.
hurts to do a lot of things when you're very heavy. But you got to suck it up. And it's that, you want to
I've
tell
never.
people, just do it. You can do it.
Fortunately, I've never been that heavy that my joints hurt. But I know what you mean.
Well,
Yeah, no, there's always that. Like, I can't imagine what it would be like for your knees to carry in excess of 50 pounds of fat. Like, that would be. I can't imagine. It would be like wearing a weight belt every day, like a weight vest.
It's worse when you get older because your joints are naturally starting to break down as you get older. When you
Collagen.
put weight on, which is when it happens, you're more likely to do things like tear your meniscus and an ACL and all this other stuff because your knees just can't hold up the weight that it's been holding up, for decades,
decades,
frankly.
right.
Decades and decades. So, yeah, there's something to be said for that in terms of age has a lot to do with it also. But
And wear and
I,
tear. Like
where,
there's a girl in college who cheerleader, her she would run like 5 miles every morning on the elliptical. Her knees are
yeah,
just shot now.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I used to see
Oh, I
her
know
all
a
the
lot of
time.
people father had an uncle who ran all the time. He had to switch to the bike because it was too much on his knees.
Oh yeah,
You know, as you get older, I do the elliptical now because when I tore my meniscus, they don't want me doing any, pounding exercise with my knees.
right.
So, that's riding a bike and whatnot is better for your knees as you get older. I will say this though, as you guys know, I was doing a strict diet before my blood test because I had been bad and I needed to make sure I had a good baseline.
Right.
I stopped eating anything at night. So my coffee after dinner was the last thing. I will say it's much. I've well before I say that, recently I had something with coffee and I hadn't had it in a while. It was the most uncomfortable night for me because and I really think it was having eaten something. And it's a mindset. We think we have to eat at night. It's just in our mind. And we've talked about this. Intermittent fasting is what people used to do all the
All the
time.
time,
They
right?
didn't have the junk. Nobody was pounding the junk on the TV 24/7. Go to BK. Have your have this, have that. Food, food, food all the time. People just didn't do that. And they might have had dessert with dinner, but then they were done for the night. So that was the first time I really realized that, you know what? I know I can do it because I stopped for this test. And then doing it again showed me that it really isn't good for you. So I
Oh
was
yeah.
so uncomfortable. I had trouble sleeping. Dad was having issues too because of his arm, but at the end of the day, because he doesn't eat at night, but I was like, wow, this is a wake up call for me. Now it's not even like a, ugh, I gotta not do this because I got a test coming up. It's really like, oh yeah, I felt much better not doing that. I was just telling someone that recently that it's a wake up call. So I do agree with that about the intermittent fasting. And I think if you could do water at night, I don't know why that wouldn't hurt you while you're sleeping before you go to bed.
Yeah, I mean technically we just do. Yeah, I mean to your point, there's no downside to it.
Yeah.
I guess water just to get the metabolism going, but I don't know.
Well, here's something else you young people haven't experienced yet. I don't know if it was in this thing that Dad said. So 7 hours of sleep a night sounds great.
Hmm.
Are you factoring in the quality of the sleep? Because when you get older, okay, you get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, right? You roll over, something hurts, it wakes you up.
Right.
So there's a difference in the quality of sleep too as you get older, that you could be sleeping 8 hours and only three of it was good sleep.
Right. Mm. See, I've been doing the Coke Zeros because they're pretty good for you, in the sense of they're better than soda, obviously. Because I asked the trainer, I said, "Is Coke Zero, like those 0 calorie sodas, actually good for you?" And he says, "Yes. Your body just has to get used to that much aspartame, and aspartame is like a chemical in those." And I was like, my body will adjust." So I drank a whole Coke Zero when my body is not used to that, and it was a tough night.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, but now I do them pretty easily. They're not something you should
Yeah.
have every day, but
You don't need it at all. You don't need the aspartame. I mean, once a week, if you're out to dinner and you want something bubbly, that's one thing.
oh yeah, I'm
But
not drinking. I'm not drinking soda every day, Mom. I'm not Dad.
oh, okay. Okay, you made it
No,
sound like you were having
no,
it at
but like
night.
if I'm having my like today, I got chicken from Harris Teeter. Like that'll
Yeah,
enjoy myself a little bit, but that's about it.
fine.
Yeah,
It's a weekend.
yeah,
But I agree. Yeah, I don't think any of that stuff is good on a regular basis.
yeah.
That's
Aspartame's a chemical, so
that nobody ever had Coke. Nobody had that stuff. And now it's a mainstay. It got to the point where that stuff was cheaper than water when you go to the food store. When you get, all the discounts and whatnot, it was cheaper to get bottled water. Your father noticed that too when we were there one time.
yeah,
So what does that tell you?
yeah, really. Last but not least, Mother, the biggest one on our list. Our reason to go back to Universal. The new park has opened, Mother. Universal's new Epic Land. Now, I've been watching behind the scenes footage. They allowed all the influencers to go see the park first. Bullshit that we didn't get an invite when we've been there 12 times. So, yeah. I've ridden on that Hulk ride too many times to even count. I should get a goddamn award. I should get an award for waiting in the goddamn line for how long that freaking whatever.
And the Hulk ride, okay?
Yeah.
Because you guys needed somebody to go with you.
Ma, what's absolutely wild is
Yeah.
the inside looks at this park. They remade more areas of Harry Potter. We got to go back. Like, no question, we got to go back. We have to. Mike's down. They have a Nintendo World. They have more Harry Potter stuff. They did more of the more horror-esque stuff.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
commercials for it. They do the Harry Potter, then they have some Viking thing. People dressed like Vikings.
Yeah.
They had the Mario Kart, Super Mario. That might be the Nintendo World, I guess. Super Mario.
Yeah, that's the Nintendo World. Look at that.
I can't see it. I only see you.
Oh, you don't have the thing up?
No, well, it's not coming up. I just have watch stream.
Yep, that would be it, mother.
But nothing's coming up. It just says watch stream.
Yeah, click it, watch stream.
Oh, I've never had to do that before.
How many episodes in are we?
No, and I've had it on other episodes. I never. This is the first time.
Okay,
So
hold on.
yeah.
Epic Universal map. I want to see the Epic Universe map. Huge. $7 billion. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that was a little cheap in comparison.
Yeah. So this is a third park, or did they put a park?
Third park, Ma.
Oh, okay.
Third park. So now it's not 2 anymore. So yes, Ma, we can shoot for the summer. Okay, fine.
We have 5 worlds. Wait a minute.
Some of those are within. So let me just see.
Okay, so this is separate from Universal.
No, it's
right.
still in there.
Well, yeah, but remember, Universal was 2 things. It was the Marvel Hero, and it was Universal Studios.
Yes. So now.
So now, is it 3 things, or is it the original and now another one?
It's the 2. And we have the third
Plus
part coming. Yeah.
Okay. Because they say 5 immersive worlds.
Yeah, I gotta see
In the one.
Universal map. At Universal Studios.
Which is interesting because they were building all these hotels, and I remember saying to your brothers, well, this is not good. They're going to load all these people in, but the parks can only hold so much. I didn't realize they were adding parks to it, which that makes sense.
Boom, here we go. So this is the new one.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is the old one. That's City Walk.
No, that's the old
We
one.
never did Volcano Bay. Volcano Bay is the water park. Which is
yeah, we
bullshit.
never did water park. We're not water park people.
You stop it. You stop it.
Plus, we usually went in the winter when it was warm, but not that warm. Like
Boom.
the water was cold.
Here it is. This is the new one. Mom, stop yelling. I'll show you a map. Look at this. So you walk on in.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have Celestial Park right here. You have
Yeah.
Super Nintendo World, which is its own park. You have the Dark Universe, which is all the scary rides. Helios, I think this is the new hotel.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the hotel. So it's literally a hotel in the park. And then Harry Potter, the new Ministry of Magic. Now what's cool, Mom, is now there's a train that connects all 3 parks. So they took that train, they extended it. Yeah. And now this is where they moved the dragon parts. Right.
Okay.
And then all this. Okay. So I'm thinking June, July, August. Probably August we can go. Your birthday. Your birthday?
No, I don't think so. I have grandma.
It opens it. Nice. She can come too. It opens next month. So Kenny's birthday. Okay, we'll go.
Oh, okay. They've been pushing it forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
It opens on May 22nd.
Well, it's a 3-hour car ride for your brothers if you want to meet them.
That's a good point. So then I guess what's the other?
I think there's a train that goes from Miami up to Orlando, but I don't know. The last time we went, your brothers did the roller coaster. So there's a new one there that I kind of regret that I didn't do it because it's a very long one and it was the newest at the time. And it was one of the last rides we did. You know how you try and cram the last couple rides in before you have to go to the airport?
Right.
And Mike did it a few times. He got off and he goes, okay, I'm done. I don't need to do roller coasters anymore. Like, he just made this line. I'm done. I've done it. I'm ready to move on. Now, that's not to say if you said, hey, I'm going, do you want to go? I'd be interested to hear if you'd be interested in going to an amusement park again. I don't know about Kenny either. He's kind of one of like, yeah, no, I don't need to do this anymore.
Well, that's because they haven't seen the new park, Ma. Now we're all in. Now we're all in. I don't even know if Michael knows about the new one, but I was watching all the videos. Mom, you got to see some of the stuff, like some of the CGI effects and the real, like the animatronics have gotten just like set a new standard, apparently.
Oh, sure.
So, yep, I'm ready. I'm ready when everyone else is.
Yeah, I don't mind once in a while doing amusement parks. I don't mind active vacations. They're not restful by any means, but sometimes it's nice to see things, do things, have a reason.
That's a 4-day. The 3-day trip to a Universal has now become a 4-day. So 1 day getting there, then we do the hotel, we hit the pool. First day we hit Universal Studios. Then we hit the Islands of Adventure. Then we got to get the Chocolatorium in, or whatever that place is called, right? That place in City Walk.
Yeah.
We got to go to the Burger King that is the build your own burger, because my fat ass, and I just get the cheeseburger. It's just 7 pieces of cheese.
I forget. How
You shut up, mother. Let me live. Let me live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can buy the ticket, but you see how much that costs with the hotel, the flight, and everything. Cha-ching, let me tell you.
I'm still upset we didn't get a influencer pass, but whatever.
Yeah, what the hell?
When do I start pushing my weight around? When do I say, do you know who my mommy is?
Of course we need to win, goddammit.
Yeah.
Get something for free.
Yeah, exactly.
This universe will sponsor you.
Yeah, and you know what here's the thing. I want every sponsor to hear this. If you sponsor me, I don't care how shit your product is, I'm going to act like it's the best fucking thing in the world. Universal, you can have a shit ride, and I'll tell everyone how great it is. Trust me. I will push anything.
You really think Joe Rogan uses all that crap that he pushes
Yeah.
and talks about?
You think he has the time to take the soap out of the wrapper for your bullshit, whatever it is? Give it to me. I won't even open it, and I'll tell everyone how great it is. Universal, you got a new park that absolutely sucks. Well, guess who loves it?
Yeah. Take a picture of you with the Super Mario glasses on.
Yeah, I can't even name the characters. I'm like, this guy is the greatest. See that frog-looking thing over there?
The only thing is, if I go there and they got rid of the mummy ride, I'm going to be very disappointed. I might have to walk out.
Oh, did they? There's no way.
I don't know. That's always, you always worry about, they get rid of Twister, they get rid of some of the outdated ones that people don't know anymore, the Terminator one. And then for people old like me, we get disappointed because, that's like nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, that's like when they got rid of Tower of Terror. But no, it's still done. Yeah, it's still up. It's still good to go. The mummy's still there.
Yep. Still there, okay.
The mummy's worth it.
That's a classic.
The mummy's always a good one. What if they were smart, right? Universal, hear me out. Take the animatronics from the new one, the new park.
Yeah.
And do whatever you did put in the mummy one, because the mummy one back in the day it was good, probably doesn't hold up. Like I remember last time we were there a couple years ago, I was like, it doesn't hold up very well.
Well, but the mummy one's getting outdated because they haven't had the mummy movie out. So the younger generation, they don't really know Brendan Fraser's mummy, the mummy.
Yeah. But who cares? I don't know it, but I like the ride. The ride's sick. Definitely by far the most memorable roller coaster I think I've ever been on.
That was a fun one.
The only other one I remember is the Spider-Man one, but that's just because the audio was so off. Remember that? Like the machine broke, and like you would be like you would be so ahead, and like you're watching and you're just like, what, am I having a stroke? But no, that was fun. I did like that.
Or your glasses didn't work, the 3D wasn't working, so it was just like a crap video.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was like the original 3D, remember? It was just those crappy glasses. Now I think they've, like, if they would have shut anything down, it's probably that one. I think they shut down the Men in Black stuff, though.
That's probably true. Yeah, that they'll ride with the thing. You guys were not as into that as much, or we didn't go when you were, like, the Marvel Hero stuff. Your brother Mike was really into it. I just remember the first time we took him, he thought this was like the greatest thing ever, right? I mean, Spider-Man's here, and seeing the Marvel Heroes, because he was very little at the time. That's when it's worth spending the money, because your kid really is into it.
Right. So they shut it down for a while. They're actually redoing the Men in Black one. And as of December of last year, it should be fixed and like up to code and whatever. So, Mom, all the more reason. I like shooting things. You guys just don't like losing when I shoot all the little guys. You're like,
did you notice there's always the youngest kid in the car that won?
What? What are you saying? I was the oldest. I would put my hand over Michael's laser so that it wouldn't work. Remember?
Yeah. All I know is every time I talk to the brothers, I always say, remember, if you go to Disney, you have to take Chris.
Oh, I will pretend to be his son. I will call him Dad the whole time. I will call them Mom and Dad. How old is that kid? Dad, I want to do the rides. What's weird, though, here's the only downside. I feel like if I go with the Greta's, they're not gonna do the rides. So I'm just this 30-year-old doing the rides myself. I'm just
Dad,
all
right?
alone. Dad, mom, dad, I'm gonna go do this ride.
Yeah, but you definitely get into every parade. You gotta
I
go to
would
every.
I would get the Greta's their money's worth. I will tell you that. If Mary can't do the rides, I'll do the rides. Yeah.
Her mother, my friend made a comment that her daughter went to Hawaii, and she said, "It wasn't worth it. I should have gone to Disney."
I like Mary's stuff. I will do every ride with Mary if she wants to. I do not give a shit. Unless
Pretty
she's a
sad.
screamer. Then I'm doing this the whole time while she's screaming.
It's Disney. Disney's rides aren't that bad. There's nothing crazy at Disney. It's all.
I don't know the wait, what's the
The Yeti.
no what's the one with the oh, is Cat in the Hat Universal? What was
Yeah, that
yeah,
was.
oh okay. Well, if they have a Cat in the Hat ride adjacent at Disney, that could get pretty crazy, you know?
Yeah, the
Whoa!
Pooh Bear, right? Or the frog. Or they had it, the something frog ride that everybody was like for the little kid land, right? The
Yeah.
little section for little
Oh,
kids.
we're forgetting about E.T. E.T. was E.T. to this day is pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Like again, that's another one of those. How many of those movies or kids know that? There's a whole generation that's moving away from that.
Right. Is it still E.T. Is E.T. ride still I know they shut something down.
No, I think they should probably keep the Terminator because of all the AI stuff. It's gonna that's a whole new meaning. It's
Yeah.
not such sci-fi anymore.
It says yes, the ET ride is still at Universal Studios Florida. It's the last remaining version of the ride. Has also been present at Universal Hollywood, closed in 2003. So I guess there was another Universal. Only the original in Orlando remains in operation. So I guess the other Universals around the world don't have it anymore. Like
Yeah,
that.
well, Universal originally, because Universal Studios is
California,
California.
yeah.
So
But
it's the
yeah,
production studio.
I also forget that there's other Disneys in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I always think like this is the Mecca, which it is, but there's other satellite ones that have some of the big rides, but like in other
Right.
countries. So it
Yeah.
doesn't have every ride, but it has like the major ones. So
Yeah.
I know China has one. I think there's one
Well,
in like
Disneyland is the original in California.
yeah, but it sucks. Everything I hear about it
Well,
sucks.
I don't know if you're out there, but that was the original, and then Walt Disney bought all that land in Florida and created Disney World. That's why it was bigger and had multiple parks. I don't think Disneyland has multiple parks, but and then from there they Disney Paris or Disney France, Disney Japan, they're all over.
I did not. I have to say, I was gonna say $169 for a 1-day ticket doesn't seem that bad. Just
Which
saying.
one is that? Universal?
That's Universal.
Yeah, well, then you gotta do the add-ons. You gotta get the jump the line. You gotta get the room and
Well, again,
all the residents get a discount.
now we have a reason. Listen, Mom, I'm just saying we've been to Universal a lot. It's now there's a reason to go. But if you don't want to go there, I will take Disney since we haven't been there in 20 years.
You guys are grown-ass adults now. Take yourselves.
Stop, Ma. Ma, I want to stay in the Magic Princess Castle or whatever it is.
Just a credit card for you guys.
Yeah. No, Mom, you're a trip.
That's all I am. Mommy, I want the chocolate
I don't
drink
even. Ma, get me into the chocolatorium.
I need the special sunglasses from the vendor.
Give me the hat. Disney Park. I don't even remember the
That shirt. Oh
Disney
my god.
parks. Disney. What are all the Disney parks? I don't even remember them. Do you remember 'em?
Disney?
Yeah, the Disney parks.
Epcot, a Magic Kingdom. They have a water place there too. They have the MGM Studios, and there used to be 5, I think. Oh, Animal Kingdom.
Splash. Is Splash Mountain one?
Splash Mountain, I think, was the water slide. There might be 2 in there. Yeah, MGM Studios had the Back to the Future ride. That's probably gone now.
Typhoon Lagoon. There we go. That's what it was.
I think there's a sports place now too, like an ESPN or some type of sports.
You're
Okay, I'm never going
speaking.
for that.
You're speaking. All I'm hearing is that you're hitting this itch for every person in our family. Mike with the sports. Disney.
No, your dad's adamant he's not going ever again.
Yeah, that's a buzzkill. He won't even do a podcast, let alone go to Disney.
Oh gosh. Well, there's always Aunt Sue. She's always down for Disney.
Is this
She
true?
loves her Disney. She's right up there with the Grottas,
Okay, gotcha. So Kingdom Park, Magic Kingdom Park, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, Typhoon Lagoon, and Blizzard Beach. I'm only wearing a Speedo. I'm getting all the kids at it. Why is that 30-year-old?
Yeah, right.
Why is that 29-year-old in a Speedo on the Loon Lagoon?
One time we stayed at Animal Kingdom, remember that?
Yes.
And I booked it, and I didn't realize I booked some package, the concierge package.
Yeah.
And we had access to that special room.
Yeah. That was the only time we ever went.
Dad, no, we've been there before, but Dad loved that. He's like, oh, I can do this all the time. Because you didn't have to do the meals. We could just pop in and get something to eat.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Cheaper. In the long run, I think it was cheaper, too. Even though we paid extra for the hotel, the meals are so freaking expensive there. You have to have a meal plan or something.
Oh, yeah. You have to take out a mortgage on your house in order to freaking afford to go to Disney. They talked about bringing the prices down because it's just gotten so outrageous. But I don't know if that was just for the one in California or if that's all the parks across the board. But
no, I think they do in Orlando, too.
Oh, okay. Because let me tell you, after this flop, this is why I pray for the Disney flops, because it means that the ticket prices go down because they need people to come to their parks.
Oh, jeez. Well, I'm a stockholder, so I don't like the flops too much.
Sell it for tickets.
Yeah.
All right, Mom. Well, we just did hour and a half, probably a little less because we talked a little bit beforehand. But yeah, so the only things I have to promote, what do we have? I was so pissed. I did a great recording yesterday, and I guess I don't know where the video went. It's the first time this has ever happened to me. I can't find the footage anywhere after I recorded it yesterday, so I'm going to have to scrap that video, which is a shame. So there was supposed to be a video yesterday. I uploaded a video on Thursday on a game called Haste, and then obviously the podcast on Monday. This is the second week of April or first week. We don't have a live one next week. That's the week after, right?
No, we're moving into the third week. Oh, geez, when's the live one? You better tell me now so I can get it on the calendar.
Well, worst comes to worst, let me see. Is next week a live one? Oh, next week is a live one. 19th.
Okay.
The 19th is a live podcast.
Okay, let me write that down.
Oh, it's been a month already since we've done the last one? That's probably right.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully I'm not in the car somewhere doing it, but at least if I have it on the calendar, I'll know.
Yeah. See, ideally we start doing them every other week, but...
a live one every other week. Ooh.
Yeah, just because viewership-wise, Mom, we do pretty damn well on the live ones.
Well, my only issue, as you know, is with Grandma now.
Well, Graham can be in the lives.
You say that, but the picture my sister paints is that she's, like, very needy now. So I don't know if I could be gone for 2 hours. She'd have to come downstairs with me, and I got to go to the bathroom.
We can ask Graham questions, yeah. Worst comes to worst, I can hold everyone's attention, but... that's besides the point. We'll figure that out later.
We'll play it by ear. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
But next week, we'll definitely do a live one. So, on that note, Mom, we'll end it there. Social media, promo code, stream links, Discord down below. And we will see you next week, and I will see you on Monday. So, laters.